All right, we're ready to go. Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see all the smiling faces all the time in here. All right, so this meeting is called to order. This is a regular meeting of the Waxhaw Board of Commissioners, November 28th, 2023. So if you'd please join me in the ceremonial opening and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. All right, we're at the adoption of the agenda portion of tonight's meeting. I understand that town manager has a couple of requests. Jeff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Under recognitions, if we could reorder that and add another one to it, I'd like to make the recognition of planning staff certifications would be F1, and then Girls on the Run check presentation would be F2, and then the 2023 Waxhaw 101 graduation would be F3.
Okay, so those changes are up. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
All right, motion is up. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous all the way around. Thank you. All right, we've got a few things. Got 7 speakers today for public comments. So the first one up is Richard. Come on up. I know you're back there somewhere. No, actually, it's Rich Giest. Yeah, you tried. You hold for just a half a second if you would. Sorry about that. And Rich, when you're ready, we'll start over again just so you can get it on the recording. Thanks.
Check.
If all else fails, right?
Can you hear me now?
We can now. So you got 3 minutes. You can start over again. Thanks.
My name is Rich Giest. I am the owner of Waxhaw Creamery. I'm not a resident of Waxhaw, but I would like to first thank the board for the time to hear my concerns on the matter of social district in the downtown area. And I understand that it's not something that's on your agenda today. As you know, I addressed the board on November 14th meeting to voice my opposition for the ordinance of social district. During that meeting, I learned some things and created some additional questions and statements that I would like to add to the subject. Throughout the meeting, I heard a common thread regardless of the subject matter. The Waxhaw district, the Waxhaw downtown area is something special and holds a charm the residents of the town should be proud of. That charm is also delicate and can be damaged if not taken into consideration when making changes to its environment. I've also been approached since the meeting by customers and residents who were at the meeting or watching it on YouTube, showing their support for this side of the conversation. During Ashley Noel's presentation, and let me commend her for her efforts that she's made since she's joined the town staff. The position can be thankless at times, and I personally appreciate what she does. Ashley mentioned 46 communities that adopted the social district format. My first question was, how many towns are in North Carolina? According to the 2021 census, North Carolina has 76 cities, 456 municipalities, and 21 villages. Understanding that some of these areas may not even have a downtown or Main Street area, 46 is not a significant number considering the overall number of towns. Second, during the presentation, it was mentioned that over 50 businesses are on a wait list to become part of the downtown area. This is an indication of the strong health of the area. Third, it seems the reason for the state to provide a legislation to allow towns who are struggling to revitalize the Main Street area another option to do so. I don't see Waxhaw as one of these towns. Since the meeting, I have spoken to a number of people, and something was brought that I never considered, was training. Chief Wilson discussed training that was performed at some of the establishments that will start serving mixed drinks by the state. The subject point was made to me on how businesses that serve liquor have staff that is trained to address and properly control an environment where people consume alcohol. They know how to work with an individual to prevent possible escalation of a situation that most other businesses normally don't face. It would be unfair to expect all businesses to have their staff be prepared to control such situations. Mayor Pro Tem McMillon made an excellent suggestion to have a longer test period, possibly 2 months, to further examine the effect of the area. May I suggest beginning the test in the spring to provide a time of the year.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Provide a time of the year where there are reasonable numbers of people visiting the downtown area. Starting in the winter months will skew the results due to weather and business adjusting or reducing their business hours. Commissioner Simpson also touched on something that should be looked at. She questioned the restaurant seating ordinance already on the books. Perhaps the town should consider encouraging more businesses to utilize this option for their daily operations. To date, I believe there are only 3 permits issued for this. In closing, I ask the board to seriously consider the effects this ordinance will have on all businesses, not just a select few. I can personally say it will negatively impact my business. This is not a good decision for the downtown.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, Lisi? Is that what it is? There you go. You're up. You'll have 3 minutes, and you'll have to do the handheld. So just introduce yourself, and you can speak on.
My name is Lisa Lisi. I am a resident here in Waxhaw. I humbly come before this board with concern. I think we really need to stop striving. Life is not a race. Indeed, it is a journey. It is written that God says to be still. That I am. So I think that's something we should consider being still. In 3 short years, we relocated here with our daughter and our grandson from Long Island. As many others did the same in the beginning of 2021 of that year. We came to be with our son and 4 other grandchildren who have been here for years. We would visit and dream of relocating, which was an answered prayer, now a reality, to have a better life, a small town to enjoy, watching our grandkids grow, with wholesome family church and golden values. I remember when we arrived, I thought, wow, what a place. It was so magical. Feeding the horses, seeing the cows on the side of the road as you drove down 116. These changes start off so subtle that before you realize it's not the place you arrived. We have witnessed this small town York City or Charlotte, we become landlocked. We the people do not want this. Do not want this continued destruction of a place we call home, a place we live day to day. We are here today to be heard. I stand here to say please. Waxhaw can't handle these huge developments. Our roads can't handle whether they be single homes, townhomes, or cottages. We are being sandwiched. We need to preserve the beauty of the land. If anything, we need more businesses to absorb taxes, not more affordable homes that aren't affordable. What about a nice steakhouse? That would be good. I would think that would be nice. So I come with these concerns. Let's have slow, sensible growth. Let the roads come first. We need to enjoy God's landscape, the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Please let's be still, enjoying the journey in this beautiful place we call home. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Susanna. See you. There you go. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Susanna Wedren. I'm a resident of Lawson. I'd like to speak tonight about the Adelina project. Many Waxhaw citizens believe that adding 482 residential units in this place at this time will negatively impact the quality of life. Many of us who spent 25 minutes commuting just 5 years ago now find ourselves sitting in traffic for 70 minutes or more. Our children now spend more time on school buses than they ever have before. Further, people simply don't want cottage homes, townhomes, live-work units in Waxhaw. Respectfully, if we wanted to live in Matthews, we would have settled there. But this isn't a new revelation. The people have been speaking out against this project for a couple of years now. First at the Crescendo neighborhood meeting, then the Adelina neighborhood meeting, then at the Mayor's Town Hall Forum, and now at these town board meetings. What we don't understand or accept is why our opposition to this project hasn't been considered yet. Ask yourself, when was the last time you had opposition of this magnitude for any project? We have been told that if we don't annex the property, the developer will move forward with the project in Union County and we will lose tax revenue. However, there is no guarantee that Union County would even approve this project. The truth is the parcels are currently zoned R40, low-density, single-family residential. In fact, even the Union County 2050 Comprehensive Plan zones these parcels as single-family residential. We are told that we need these projects so that our recent graduates, new teachers, and police officers have somewhere to live. This is a standard developer sales pitch, heard in many towns across North Carolina. Actually, a town home in Adelina will cost at least $450,000 a year, which is hardly affordable. But it is profitable for developers. We are told that we need this project because the developers will help us with the roads. But even with all the traffic mitigations Adelina would bring, which will not be built overnight, they would still not address the traffic nightmare that is going to be made worse when the projects that have already been approved are completed. Those projects will yield 1,500 to 1,800 residential units, adding thousands of vehicles to our stressed infrastructure and many more children to our schools. Adding more residential units is to possibly get inadequate traffic mitigations from developers defies logic. We cannot widen NC 16 tomorrow, and DOT is not coming to our rescue anytime soon. But what we do have the power and control in is that we can choose not to make things worse. We right now have the ability to not contribute to the degradation of our quality of life. These are the hard decisions that we are elected to make. Please make the right one tonight. Please vote for your neighbors. Please vote for our children, and please vote no on the annexation of what would become Adelina.
Thank you. All right, next up, Glenn DeLeo. Welcome. And you'll have to use the handheld.
My name is Glenn DeLeo. I live in Jackson, unincorporated community just outside of Waxhaw. I have the unique perspective of coming from where I come from off Lancaster Highway. I travel through downtown Waxhaw every day, 7 days a week, whether it's for work or to take care of my grandchildren. It took me about 2 months of driving through Waxhaw, Marvin, Weddington for the the work that I do, which is contracting work, to get a sense that there was very poor planning in the past of the road systems versus the staggering amount of residential building that has gone on here for the past 20 years. Yes, there have been some mitigations, mostly traffic circles, but they have certainly lagged behind development. Waxhaw has to post a police officer every weekday morning around 7:30 near Waxhaw Elementary School at the Triangle near the Circle K gas station every morning just to mitigate so traffic can get through from Old Providence Road onto 75. To me, that's an improper use of police officers. It is equally challenging navigating through downtown in the morning, and especially during the late afternoon and evening. I and countless others have sat in traffic 50 to 60 cars deep, trying to cross over the railroad tracks at the only two crossings, Waxhaw Marvin Road and 16/Providence Road. I have witnessed on many occasions people cross over the double solid line and travel on the wrong side of the roadway at Waxhaw Marvin Road at the railroad crossing, trying to get further east to try another crossing. I have sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic on 16 heading north at poorly designed intersections like Bonds Grove Church Road where there's no left turn lane, or heading south on 16 at Ennis Road where there is no left turn lane, or traveling northwest on Waxhaw Marvin Road at the intersection of Bonds Grove Church Road. This could be possibly the worst designed intersection in light of the continued residential growth that was forecasted for this area. Or try to leave the parking lot of Walmart or Lowe's at school dismissal time onto Cuthbertson Road, or for that matter, Cuthbertson Road onto Newtown Road. A left turn lane was promised onto Newtown, but the Union County project Encore at Streamside is almost complete, yet the left turn lane has still not been done. Yes, we've heard the 16 mitigation plans from the independent consultant hired by Waxhaw for the Adelina impact. We heard about short and long-term plans for each mitigation. If the prior track record of road improvements compared to the density development Waxhaw and surrounding communities is any indication of what this project and many others in the pipeline will cause to road safety, we are all in for big trouble. Quite frankly, the traffic mitigation improvements won't happen for years, but the endless residential development will be built at lightning speed pace. All the while, the residents will continue to suffer. This area is the classic, if you build it, they will come, ripe for overdevelopment. I would have thought that with all this anticipated residential growth over the past 10 years, leaders would have explored all possible ways to slow it down in light of the realities of Waxhaw's configuration. Waxhaw is a funnel if you look at it from 485.
I'll let you get to finish your thoughts.
Okay. There's only so much widening of 16 as you head downtown. Have we explored legal moratoriums on building based on traffic safety, accidents, wildlife displacement? Have we explored an open space tax to purchase large undeveloped tracts as they come to market? Have we worked with the Union County Board of Commissioners to brainstorm these type of ideas? Have we considered amending the land use plan to downsize the R4 zoning, especially along the 16 corridor? I would ask, in the context of Adelina's vote tonight, that if we are going to approve it, can we at least not allow them to obtain a CO until all the mitigation projects are complete? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Don, now it's your turn.
Good evening, Richard Dawn, President of Waxhaw. You guys have some big decisions to make tonight, and I just wanted to bring some information that I hope will be a little helpful. There was some discussion in the last meeting about election numbers, and some percentages were given. Those percentages were correct, but I don't think they really say anything about the level of enthusiasm for a new direction. A better way to look at it is the margin of victory. So If you look at the average margin of victory in 2019, it was about 3%. In 2021, it was 7%. This year it was 19%. So that's just something to keep in mind. The people want a new direction. They don't want the same old, same old. They want to feel heard. They also feel that the dark money that entered the election is concerning and dilutes their voice. Stand In C Inc. is a non-profit started in Raleigh by a DC attorney. It is a 501c4, which means that they're not required to disclose their donors. I would encourage everyone listening to go to standinc.org. There you will find a web page with no information about the organization, simply a donation portal and a small statement about 501c4s stating that they cannot engage in political activity. Well, they sent mailers, they sent text messages, they did robocall campaigns. If that's not political, I mean, that seems ridiculous to me. We have campaign laws for a reason. So that should be a concern to anyone who cares about the voice of the people. Just some things for you guys to consider. Thank you.
All right, Steve Gonzalez. So Steve, you got 3 minutes. Thanks.
Thanks. Good evening. My focus is on the process rather than the merits of tonight's agenda. First, I want to give credit where it's due. It was good to see the full-time social district off tonight's agenda. Presumably, it became clear that it's a controversial topic to be saved for another day. By that same token, however, I question what we're still doing here with respect to Adelina and the 2040 plan. These topics are also controversial, as you can hear tonight. So what's the emergency to make a final decision? And why can this not wait until the new board members and mayor have the opportunity to review and weigh in? That's not rhetorical. The Waxhaw electorate, as you just heard, spoke loud and clear on November 7th that it wants a course correction. And ignoring that without a valid reason shows them contempt. At the last meeting, it was deeply troubling to hear one commissioner try to sidestep this and minimize the meaning of these results by saying that unseating incumbents was just Waxhaw being Waxhaw, that the majority of people didn't vote, that the margin of victory wasn't impressive or unusual. Honestly, that was some pretty brazen spin, in my view, to explicitly justify continuing business as usual through the end of the current term and beyond. Let's dive into some facts. Yes, the majority of Waxhaw didn't vote in this local election, and they never do. But turnout was higher by orders of magnitude compared to the 3 prior local elections. The combined vote totals for all 3 successful commissioner candidates in 21 and 17 were exceeded by the duo of Wedra and Dawn by 74% and a whopping 166% respectively. In fact, even all 10 candidates combined in 2017 received 22% fewer votes than Wedra and Dawn received this month. The data also shows that about 72% more people voted in this mayoral race than they did in 19, and that the nearly 2-to-1 margin of victory was 91 times higher than the fraction of 1% margin of victory in 2019. This is a mandate, and it's not sincerely disputable. And frankly, disputing it is a double-edged sword anyway. Ironically, you'd be conceding that the very results that gave you the authority you enjoy sitting here today, with a far smaller sample of the voting bloc and far slimmer margins of victory, carry even less weight in terms of your own mandate. So I'd be surprised if you really want to stick with this position. Look, even if you can do something here today, doesn't mean you should. With no compelling reason for an urgent vote to approve these projects, the optics of ramming them through are horrible and carry a reputational risk. Why do you want that? Instead of just keeping the trains running, congratulating graduates and presenting checks, which, God bless, that's all great. That's what you should be doing. It's keeping the lights on, effectuating an orderly transition. Why do you want this current board's last act to be one that breeds additional distrust by the public by giving the appearance of trying to avoid the additional transparency that's coming in 2 weeks? So I urge you to be responsible to the people uphold the trust of the citizens of Waxhaw, and to not reach conclusions on issues until all sides have been heard. Those are not my words. Those are the charges quoted from the town's code of ethics for public officials. Clearly, the best way to cultivate public trust, ensure that all sides are heard, and show responsibility to the people tonight is to simply hold on Adelina in the 2040 plan to seek consensus with the new board members who've been selected to oversee precisely these issues for the next 4 years.
Mr. Joe Lapos. I know you're back there. All right, you have the handheld and you got 3 minutes.
Great, thanks to see you all again. Glad to be here. Yeah, I'm a relationship person, so I'm going to start off talking about a little about myself, one of the residents of Waxhaw. I live in Wysaki Park, and for the past 6 years I've lived as a retiree there. I'm surrounded by a man who served 14 years on the planning board of Waxhaw and lived here all his life. His brother, a widower, lived next door to me before passing away. My other neighbors are all widows. Down the street is a woman whose husband built the first house in Wysaki over 50 years ago. He served in the seats you 6 are sitting in today. She told me apparently my house was the second one built in the neighborhood, so it's over 50 years old also. I retired to fulfill a ministry calling I only got to do part-time as life took me down a different path, where I traveled the U.S. as a telecom sales manager, where I put rubber on the road in every major city in the U.S. and everywhere in 6 states. I understand traffic and growth. Since retiring, I ended up in various roles fulfilling what Jesus' brother James said is pure religion, as quoted in James 1:27. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. I never thought I'd be reaching the widows part, but as I just mentioned, it happened. Prior to that, I served helping the fatherless by counseling the very 1 out of 10 men who chose to be a father versus leaving their girlfriend at an abortion clinic. In that time, I met with male and female straight out of prison. I met with ones of both genders who had been human trafficked, abused, raped, and forced to do things they did not want to have happen to them. On December the 9th, I found myself representing widows and single moms here in this very room as this board was making the decision to annex the Yarborough property, which abuts Wysaki Park. Frankly, I personally did not care that much, as I could easily just pick up and move, just like we did from Valhalla Farms, where Adeline is about to go in, because we knew the traffic was going to be very heavy in that area, so we picked up and moved. I knew for some reason I needed to do something else. I didn't find out till later it was to stand up for widows, of all things, in our area, who have lived in the south of the tracks area, who are being gentrified with increased taxes that you all did to them, traffic increases, ruining the land, and adding thousands of future homes that are guaranteed to happen now because of your votes. I was appalled 1 month later on January 10th when you 6 people did exactly what you were about to do with Adelina. Adelina, by the way, means noble or nobility. Instead of treating the people in my neighborhood and those who lived in the area about to be annexed, you completely ignored the 3-minute speeches they made. Not one of you acknowledged a single comment of the people made on December 9th or January 10th. Zero nobility was given to the people. All of those I mentioned, like a woman who came into the health pregnancy center looking for help, who had clothes on with burn marks all over them because her husband beat her first and then burned all her clothes. And they all have one thing in common to what we're talking about right now. Not one of you, where'd I go here? Lost my spot. Oh, here we go. The people here today have all said no, just like that woman did. What you have been voting on growth-wise in our town needs to be voted on as no on all 3 agenda items today. For some of you, this is your very last chance to do what people want. For 3 of you, here's a chance to start doing as we the people have asked you to do, and start saying no. Thank you.
All right, we'll move down to the consent agenda, so didn't have any changes on that, so I'm looking for a motion on that one.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, motion's up. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, very good. All right, we will drop down to recognitions. We'll do a little shuffle here. First, we'll have Miss Lisa come up, and we've got a planning staff certification.
Thank you, Mayor. Lauren has been with the town for almost 5 years. She started as a permit technician for the building inspections department. About a year ago, she moved to planning as our planning technician. I'm here tonight to recognize Lauren for earning her CZO, Certified Zoning Official. The Zoning Official certification has coursework for employees to develop plan review skills, legal framework of planning and enforcement, amendments, quasi-judicial procedures, inspections, enforcing ordinances, and providing service to customers. Lauren has been an essential part of our team, and this is a well-deserved recognition, so congratulations, Lauren.
Congratulations, Lauren.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to start out and thank the board and thank my planning team for their continual support and motivation. Their guidance and shared experiences have been invaluable. They are true team leaders. They continually inspire me to strive for excellence. Thank you, everyone.
All right, congratulations there. I think we have a photo op coming up there. Don't go away. All right, next up, Girls on the Run. The town manager's going to present on this one, I think, is it, right? It's Dina. It's Dina, there we go.
All righty. All right, tonight we are here to go over the wonderful accomplishment of Girls on the Run 5K race that partners with the town of Waxhaw. It happened on November the 18th, early in the morning. And I've got Miss Nicole and Miss Amy and Miss Kate here. And Miss Nicole is going to go over kind of what the Girls on the Run program is and about the 5K race. And then I think Miss Amy's got a little presentation as well. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you, Dina. As she mentioned, I am Nicole Elzayek. I'm the Executive Director of Girls on the Run. We are a local nonprofit based here in Union County. We operate in all elementary and middle schools throughout Union County and in Montgomery County as well, serving girls 3rd through 8th grade. People think we're a running program because we're Girls on the Run. Kind of sounds like a self-explanatory thing, but we take the time to focus on the whole girl, teach them how to care for themselves and how to give back to the community. So as we mentioned, the race took place last Saturday. It was wonderful. We had well over 1,500 girls participate and community members. We raised over $30,000 that we are going to use to ensure that no girl has a financial barrier to participating in the program in the future. And we wanted to thank Novant Health, who are our presenting sponsors, and without them, our race wouldn't have taken place. We have our supporting sponsors, at least some of them here tonight. We have Balfour Beatty. The team for Balfour Beatty is here this evening. Blythe Construction, Cigna, and Kate Skate were also supporting sponsors and helped us execute this race. And we could not say thank you enough without the team, or to the team of the town of Waxhaw, who support us through executing to staging through the entirety of the day. We couldn't do it without you, and we truly appreciate you. And in the spirit of Giving Tuesday and in stewardship of our relationship with the town of Waxhaw, we would like to give a portion of that back to the town of Waxhaw. So here is a giant check for you.
And in addition, I want to introduce myself. I'm Amy. I am the race director at Ginger Staff. It is an honor to have all your support, and we are truly grateful for the town for allowing us to have this race. And in addition to this donation, we would like to make an impactful donation when that time comes to the downtown park as well.
That's very good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Congratulations again.
Thank you, guys. Let's take a quick picture.
Can I suggest maybe doing a group picture in the lobby?
We're going to take a group picture outside.
Yep.
All right, next up, we have recognition again on the Waxhaw 101 graduation class. That's great. So Mr. Jeff Wells, you can start that off, and just as a note after we go through these, we are going to gather as another photo op group outside, so we are going to pause after this. But Jeff, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. And I'm pleased to recognize our 2023 Waxhaw 101 graduates. Waxhaw 101 provides an opportunity for the public to learn about town operations, mainly the hows and whys of local government operations and specific services that Waxhaw provides. The class is offered weekly in the fall and runs for 10 consecutive weeks. This is the largest 101 class that we've ever had. We initially had 36 participants. We did have a few that had to drop out for a few reasons, which is pretty normal, and most of them will be picking back up with next year's class offering. And we have roughly half of the graduates here this evening to be introduced and recognized. So I have these certificates now, and I will call out the ones that we know here are by name. And if you could bear with us, maybe just hang out here in the front, let everybody see who you are, and then once everybody is named, we're going to go out into the lobby. The board's going to take a quick break to have a picture with them, and then we'll come back in. So just bear with us here for just a few minutes. First off, Allie Carson. Is Allie Carlson here? Okay. Denise Chimienti. All right. Kara Costa. All right.
Maybe that's a list that didn't show, right?
Well, all right, we'll try number 4. Julie Etheridge. There we go.
There we
Hey,
go.
Julie, come
Got
on up.
one there? Come on up.
Yeah. Hang out right here if you don't mind for a moment. Daniel Ferris. I saw Daniel here. There he is.
All right.
Very welcome. Glenn Ford. Glenn, I did not see Glenn. Yeah. Hugo. Come on up, Hugo Gill.
There you go.
Congratulations. Judy Hall. Beverly. I saw Beverly here. There she is. Come on up, Beverly. Richard Krause. I saw Richard here. Come on up. Welcome. Evelyn. Come on up, Evelyn Levine. Uh-oh, hurt your foot. Oh, no. Damo. Come on up, Damo. Damo McCurry. Very welcome. And Robert Murray, saw him here. Come on up.
There you go.
Good. Vicki Tompkins. Come on up, Vicki. There you go. Amy. Come on up, Amy. Amy Poye. Michelle Whiting. Come on up, Michelle.
Yeah.
Mr. Dex Wilson.
Hey.
not least, Waxhaw's first family now, Earl Wooster. And Kathleen Wooster. There you go. There you go. Now, if anybody wants to say anything, then you are more than welcome to take the microphone for a moment. Anybody
Please
brave
do.
enough to say hello? Yeah.
I'm Julie Etheridge. I just wanted to encourage everyone, if you haven't had the opportunity to take this class, it was really eye-opening, informative, and really great use of time. You guys did an excellent job putting it together. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else back there?
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you all for attending. It takes a bit of effort to go through that class, so hope that it was beneficial to everybody. Any other brave souls that we haven't recognized back there? All right. Jeff. Oh, we got one. Chief. This is a brave soul. We just call you Lefty.
Sorry, I just like to talk. So I want to reiterate what he said about the board dedicating all your time, all the staff employees dedicating their time. I thought I knew a lot about what each department did. Come to find out I didn't. So I really appreciated the time they put in and all the effort they put into it, and I learned a lot. So it was a really great course.
It is.
All right, great. So if you
One more there?
One more. Yes.
I had the opportunity and the pleasure to take both the Waxhaw Police Academy, led by Chief Wilson, and Waxhaw 101. Lots of time. I was glad I was done, but I would again recommend everybody. It's an unbelievable discovery, getting to know everything that's going on here in town. And as a newcomer, I am very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Very good. Well, welcome.
Hi, I'm Judy Hall, and I want to thank everyone involved, everybody on the board, mayor, and actually everybody here, and my co-workers, shall we say. This was a delightful program. It was inspirational, and I loved some of the hands-on things we did. We learned a lot about each other, and I think we had a wonderful time, and I would highly recommend it to everybody. It's a shame there isn't a part two. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, very good. So if we could have the board step
All
out
right,
to
we're
the
going to go to a
lobby for
pause real
moment,
quick here.
And the Waxhaw
Motion.
101, and we'll take a quick picture.
Hang on, Jeff.
Take a quick 5-minute recess.
Yeah, take a quick 5-minute recess there. Here we go.
That's it.
right here. You got it? So we're not there.
Did you get it going? Sure. Well, I had confidence and faith in you.
Check, check.
Feels like the heck
It's cold.
All
right.
Somebody
Here, this is. To get going again. Thanks for the patience in that. We had a good graduating group there. I think they really learned a bunch. So, oh, we're missing Jeff. He slid out on me. There we go. No, he's in the room. All right, we'll try to get it a little bit warmer in here. Take the temperature up. Not cooperating. Okay. Well, we'll just keep on going then. All right. All right, so we're back in session here. Nothing under presentations tonight, no public hearings tonight. We're old business tonight, so first up is Lisa Thompson. That one now works.
This works? Awesome.
Jason did it.
Thank you, Jason. Good evening. My name's Lisa Thompson. I'm the Planning and Inspections Director for the Town of Waxhaw. I'm here tonight to present a annexation request by Shea Homes Carolina LLC. It's for approximately 227.43 acres. It's parcels 06, 159, 010, 017, 016, and 015. They're located on Providence Road, northeast of Sunset Hill Road. During the public hearing, I oriented you to the map. Here's Providence Road, Sunset Hill. Cuthbertson Road is down here to the south. You guys have seen this 3 times already. On October 24th, we investigated the petition. We found it to be sufficient. We called for a public hearing. That public hearing was held on November 14th, so tonight we're here looking for a motion to adopt the annexation ordinance. And the motion is there, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions, anybody on here? Okay, we have seen this before, so I'm going to look for a motion.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance ORD 2023-024, voluntary annexation petition 18-233, official property Adelina project as presented.
All right, that motion is up. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous around. Thank you. All right, next up, Lisa, decision on the conditional rezoning petition.
Just take a moment for the slides. Shea Homes Carolina is requesting conditional zoning. This is from Union County R40 to R4CZ and CCCZ, which is commercial corridor. The site encompasses 2 main parcels that are approximately 227.56 acres combined. At the last meeting, I showed you the subject property, its location. The one thing I wanted to point back out was this is the same land use pattern as the neighboring subdivisions. It's about 2.3 dwelling units per acre. That's the same as the Providence Grove subdivision to the north. We have about a 2.5 dwelling unit acre spread kind of throughout town, average. Lawson, for example, is 2.6 and Inverness is 2.6. So the proposed density is 2.3 dwelling units per acre. Here's the site plan of the proposed development. The plan shows a mix of cottage units, townhomes, and single-family home units. In addition, they are proposing 21.49 acres of commercial along Providence Road. I went into a lot of detail at the public hearing, so I'm just going to do a few summary notes this evening. We talked in length about our traffic impact analysis. We discussed how Waxhaw is unique. We have a third-party consultant to perform that TIA. This is not the developer's TIA. All trips from this development are accounted for and mitigated, including 12 different intersection improvements in the area. The town has worked with the Providence Grove and Inverness HOAs. We removed that connection to Summerled. I wanted to thank them for meeting with us Those were very good, productive meetings. We went through the pros and cons of that connection. It still meets our connectivity ratio ordinance and the number of access points for this proposed number of units. This connection will now be a pedestrian trail connection only. Speaking of trails, this development has over 2.34 miles of trails. Plus, the applicant worked with the planning board and staff and agreed to a multi-use path in lieu of a sidewalk along the main spine, the north-south and east-west spine. Through this development and the approved Amavi development to the south, you can get from Providence Road all the way to Cuthbertson and eventually down to the Union County Library site on the trail. In addition to the greenway improvements, there's a 7.15 acre park being donated to the town, plus a financial contribution of another 6.62 acres. That's based on the tax value per acre. That's per state statute. Lastly, the development includes 69 acres of open space, where 53 of those acres will be tree safe. As I mentioned, this is a conditional zoning, site plan specific. The plan, the development standards, and the related graphics make up the proposed zoning district. Only minor alterations can be made without having to go back through this process. I went into length at the last meeting about the comprehensive plan. Union County comprehensive plan down there in the bottom left. In the orange has about 50 acres of mixed residential. This is for higher density residential, including apartments, townhouses, and small single-family lots. On the bottom left in yellow is designated for no more than 2 units per acre. That's the Union County 2050 comp plan that was adopted about a year ago. The Waxhaw 2016 comp plan has the site as it's within the intended growth sector. This sector is intended to be applied to areas that support urban scale mixed-use development patterns. The Planning Board reviewed the rezoning on both September 21st and October 17th. The board recommended approval 6-0 with the following conditions. The first one is to strike the convenience store with fuel gas use. The applicant has agreed to do that. The second condition is to make the Summer-Led Way connection that was on the plan pedestrian only. The applicant has agreed to do that. 3 is to coordinate with the town to provide a multi-use path along the north, south, east, west spine roads. The applicant has agreed to do that. And then 4th is any land disturbance around BMPs. They would like to see reforested, replanted with native trees, native grasses, and wildflowers. Again, the applicant has also agreed to do that. They did bring up 3 traffic impact analysis recommendations. We can't make those conditions. One was TIA number 5, Waxhaw Marvin Road. The applicant at Bonds Grove, the applicant's required to do a right turn lane there. They're asking to try to move up that roundabout that's planned for that location and use the fee in lieu money to see if we can get that moved ahead. TIA item number 13 is Providence Road at Kensington. The Madison Park development is putting in a right turn lane. They have to add an additional 350 feet of storage. The planning board just recommends that they work together, so that's done at the same time. And then number 15, Cuthbertson Road in Amavi Street. There's a planned roundabout in Adelina's Phase 3. They thought it was needed. If staff could work with the developer in moving that project up as soon as possible, that was a recommendation. The applicant, again, they agreed to the conditions. They responded, adding some clarity. That's the conditions you'll see in your staff report and in the ordinance. With every rezoning or text amendment, general statutes require the town to provide a land use plan consistency statement. Not only saying if it's consistent or not, but why it's reasonable or not reasonable. So staff has drafted that statement for your review. And then we're looking at a motion to adopt the land use plan consistency statement, and then a motion to approve the rezoning petition and corresponding ordinance with all conditions as listed. I do want to take a moment to thank the planning board. The applicant, I think, was in front of them 3 or 4 times. They really did their homework. This was ready back in July, so this is not a last-minute shove. They did a good job reviewing this and providing a recommendation. Also wanted to thank an applicant, the applicant. 1 meeting is required. I think they had 7 or 8 with the community, with the adjacent HOAs, neighborhood meetings, staff, planning board members, and other folks. So they did a good job. It's good to see. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from anybody on the board? Okay, we've seen this one obviously for the last 18 months or so. It's been a long process. So with that, if there's no other questions, thoughts, then I'll look for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the land use plan consistency statement as presented.
May I make a suggestion, please?
Sure.
I think you need to adopt the ordinance and also then the consistency statement, but dealing with the ordinance, you've got to deal with that before you can deal with the land use reasonableness and/or consistency of the land use plan.
So we can combine this.
Well, you can combine it into one motion, yes, but I would start out with a motion to either adopt or deny the ordinance. That would be the first thing you would need to vote on.
All right, so we'll change the order here.
Yes.
What we got. All right, so we'll go back to amend your motion to start with,
Okay, so I'll
what you're
amend
gonna say.
my motion and proceed with a new motion to approve the rezoning petition CD 014-304-2022 and corresponding ordinance ORD 2023-025 with all conditions listed and or as amended.
Can you flip back to that consistency statement?
Yes,
And the plan is consistent with the 2016 comprehensive plan in that it facilitates a cohesive network of mixed-use neighborhood and commercial center. The intended growth sector is reasonable and in the public interest. The development connects non-contiguous areas through the annexation. The same land use pattern as surrounding areas to ensure the town grows in an orderly manner. It sets aside parkland for the town, integrates with the town's greenway system along with various transportation improvements to further fund intersection projects identified in the town's master transportation plan.
It's a long motion. All right, thank you. All right, that motion is up, as lengthy as it was, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous all the way around. All right, thank you, Lisa, appreciate that, and thank you for working all together, all of you, both the applicant and our town staff. That was a long process, and appreciate the staying through it with the neighborhoods around us too, so appreciate that. All right, so now we've got Mr. Blair's up for the decision on the 2040 comprehensive plan.
Good evening, everyone. Blair Israel, Senior Planner, Town of Waxhaw. Appreciate the opportunity tonight to once again present, although in shorter form, the comprehensive plan known as Waxhaw 2040. So let's see what we have. First of all, just so that we understand what a comprehensive plan is, it's meant to be a community's collective statement on its future, and by collective, that's really the important word here because it is the product of public input, the product of previous plans that are all considered that have been adopted by the town in years past and very recently. Data, of course, analysis of that data. But the collective part is getting everyone on board, giving the public numerous opportunities and different ways of reaching out to the public to get their input. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but I just want to say that the comprehensive part of the plan, you can see the subject matter on the right. It covers utilities, services, business and employment, housing, neighborhoods such as downtown, cultural and recreation life, environment and open space, transportation, both vehicular and walkable and other non-vehicular transportation, and of course land use. So here you can see the project timeline. It has taken a while. This has been a big project. We were hoping to get it done in a year, and it's stretched into a year and a half, but I think that's reasonable for an undertaking like this. In this timeline, you can see the various steps, and you can see color-coded the different public input events that we had in the wine color, and each of those events are described in the comprehensive plan. You can also see in the lighter green, olive green, the focus groups, various groups that we were able to meet with who wanted to talk with us about their unique needs and concerns for the plan or what they wanted to see included, and of course all the public boards, the Board of Commissioners, Planning Board, and such. And then the public input surveys, there were two specifically, the Waxhaw Citizen Survey that was out. I hope everybody had a chance to or took advantage of the opportunity to fill that in with your concerns, opinions, and such. We got a very good response from that. And then also the comp plan online survey. One thing that doesn't show up in this project timeline is when we posted the plan and got the word out through various social media that the plan is up online, and we invite your comments, and we got some great comments. We got a lot of input from that, so that was very valuable to have. Just very quickly, the project area for this plan, if you're familiar with the 2016 plan, that map's going to look pretty much the same. It's the same area. You can see the town in the darker blue. That's currently about almost 13 square miles. The area of joint planning with Union County is the lighter blue. And then the extended planning area to the south. This again matches the 2016 plan. It's provides us within this project an opportunity to analyze that land and to make recommendations for that land, so that in the course of time, as we expect as the years go on, if the land gets annexed, we already have a plan for that. We already have a plan to say, let's do what we want to do with that land, and you're going to see the land use plan and how it treats that land. I think it's very important, very integral to this plan. You can see the overall area, basically the size in the Union County map to the upper right. You can see how large an area that is. The extended planning area, of course, goes south because to the north, to the northwest, to the northeast, we're landlocked with the other towns. So if land is going to come in from the county for voluntary annexations, that's where it's likely going to come from, in addition to the area of joint planning. Just very quickly, you can see 5 bullet points of goals there. Improve traffic flow, that is number one, and that's what all of this work went into making that happen. And of course, maintaining the local downtown charm. A lot of that is about traffic. If you think about when you're downtown, if you're having lunch, you might find yourself having to stop in your conversation as one of the many trucks that goes by that has to use that intersection of 16 and 75, or just go along 75 in that segment, interrupts the quiet and the mood of downtown. So we'll talk a little bit more about solutions for that. Increase opportunities for local commercial and employment, improve walkability both in terms of road safety and in connections. Some of the trails opportunities were mentioned earlier. This has a lot more within the comp plan. And I also want to mention preserving the historic resources, particularly the downtown, and the natural resources. So we'll see a little bit more about that in these key recommendations. I'm sorry that these maps are so small. There's a lot of detail in them, and you'll be able to see that and zoom in when we post all this online. In its final form, it's already online, but there'll be, I think, even more readable and more usable and more interactive as time goes on, or soon as we get things all in place, if the plan is adopted. For land use, I just want to mention again that this is highly consistent with the Union County 2050 plan. And I want to point out the area that I mentioned below 75, south of 75, you see a lot of green. And those land uses are very much about preserving that land, preserving that open space. And within that, preserving open space corridors. Those corridors maybe don't show up on that map so well, but on the map on the far right, when we get into the non-vehicular trails, you'll see a lot of green, and how those corridors, of course, they follow the streams and other natural corridors. In the middle, the vehicular transportation map, again, hard to see at this scale, but one of the main features is the parkway, and this is in keeping and consistent with plans that have been out there since, I think, about 30 years. Is that right? But are in the 2016 plan, are in the plans that CRTPO and NCDOT work with. We want to make those parkways a reality, and this is an important step to making that happen and and helping to resolve the traffic problem. Because I know traffic is a lot of what's in people's hearts right now that they feel is the main problem. A lot of that traffic, by far, is through traffic. It's not traffic that's generated within Waxhaw. It's traffic that's moving through Waxhaw, mostly north to south, along 16 and headed south, and then also 75, of course, and all channeled, mostly channeled through the 1675 intersection in downtown. So this plan is another step in solving those problems. The non-vehicular map, again, on the right, you'll see on-road and off-road facilities, making a connectivity for pedestrians. Also equestrian trails, I want to point out, that's one difference between the 2016 plan and this plan, is that we have more of an emphasis on the opportunities for equestrian trails, particularly on the south side. So you can see those if you get a chance to look at the map more closely. And also blueways, those are going to be critical along 12 Mile Creek, a great opportunity, and the steps towards making that greenway happen are already well underway. So some other key features, just again, the consistency with the Union County's plans, growth trends that are consistent with Union County school projections, preservation of rural lands, particularly in the south, as I mentioned, that limits the needs for any sewer expansion, and also talking about trails. This plan incorporates the Carolina Thread Trail and the major crosstown multi-use spine trails, and those particularly along 12 Mile Creek and Sunny Way. So the motion is short and sweet, nothing you can memorize it, just to adopt the Waxhaw 2040 comprehensive plan. Oops,
Any questions for our presenter? Pedro?
Go back to the slide where it talked about school projections and being consistent with the county.
Well, it's just a bullet point statement, but there is more to be said about that, certainly. Do you have a more specific question, or how do you want to?
How are we consistent with Union County school projections? What are their school projections?
Well, their school projections are public record in the McKibben Demographic Research Annual Report. So that's something that we can see and work with. And it talks, in that report, you see a lot about cycling, of certain age levels, cycling through and aging out, and then the expectation that there will be new kids coming in. And so the McKibben report shines light on that and helps us to see that. And it's important to remember that when you're considering some of the developments that are being considered, even the developments tonight, when you think about the time involved in between this point and them actually being occupied. That's you have to weigh that in. You have to consider that when you're thinking about capacity. But I want to stress that the town works directly with the school board. Every time there's a development that's being considered, that it is, I mean, a large development of any, most of the developments that come through go through our technical review committee, and that sends that plan out for consideration by various agencies, various points of view and such, various concerns. They all get to weigh in on that plan, and among them is Union County's public schools. And so every plan that we send out to the technical review committee, we hear back from Union County Public Schools, and they give us a report, usually just a few words saying, yeah, this meets our capacity, or this is within our capacity to do. I've never seen one that really deviated from that, but they are, they're an important reviewer in this overall process among many others. In addition to that, I just want to mention that with some of the with a lot of the larger developments, there are development agreements, or there can be, that allow the town to work with the developer to set aside property for new schools. Now, new schools don't just pop up overnight. That's a big process, but the town can contribute to that in that way, and also just the fact that schools can be located in any of our zones by right, except for the Main Street zone downtown. So that the goal that we have is to be partners with Union County Public Schools. And you know, the challenge is that even though we've talked a lot about growth here tonight, the growth comes whether we really want it or not. What the challenge is, and that this comp plan meets head on, is to manage that growth, to direct that growth in a way that's going to be advantageous to the town and that's going to help preserve this rural land. I mean, there's been a lot said about God's country out there. I mean, it's beautiful land, it's a beautiful area, it draws a lot of people here. We want to preserve that. And if the town is not responsible in managing that growth goes elsewhere. It goes out into the county and it sprawls and it eats up more land than it would have if it can be in the town. So I just want to stress that. That's part of the function that this town has. Anyway, so that's, I think, partial. There's probably a lot more to be said to answer your question.
Getting back to the Union County 2050 plan, have they mentioned or has it been updated to reflect if they're going to build schools or not?
What they have said is that they stress that it takes a long time to build a school. There's a lot that has to happen for a school to be built. And they pointed to the projections and said we don't see a need to slow down growth. I'm talking for the county, not us.
So the county
is saying that's not going to inhibit the growth that happens in the county. And they're working directly with Union County Public Schools to say that. And again, it has to do with the cycling through of students and all. By the time, I mean, today's students are tomorrow's graduates, and then new students come in, and so that new growth provides those new students is sort of a simplistic way to look at it, but basically that's what happens.
So just so I understand it, they're saying that there's not going to be enough growth?
No, they're not saying there's not going to be enough growth. They're not saying there's going to be too much growth. They're saying that it's not a factor. And it's on page 19 of the Union County 2050 plan. It doesn't say a whole lot more than that. It just doesn't make it a factor in saying, okay, we've got to slow down growth, or we have to put the growth here and not here because of the schools. They say no, it's not really a factor for them. Now, we don't follow them in that sense. We look at it our own way, and we look at it through our technical review committee reviews and all the things that I've mentioned previously to make those decisions.
Well, we should probably look to follow that a little bit closer, because we just spent about 2 months listening to folks say, hey, we can't build schools, it's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. And, all of a sudden now we're understanding that, well, they're not going to build schools because it costs too much, and there really isn't any.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of growth that has continued to happen in Union County, and so that's not something that we can put a halt to at Waxhaw. If we can inhibit certain property owners from developing their land as they want to. If we take that stance, we can say let's zone everything R1 and make it a conditional zoning every time somebody tries to develop their land, every time somebody tries to sell their land. But really the growth is coming regardless. And so the question is, do we want to see the county eaten up by sprawl, or do we want to manage that growth in such a way that we can actually use it to build our tax base, to build roads that we need, to try to get this traffic through here? I think one thing that's underestimated is that if that growth goes somewhere else, guess what? The cars still come through here. I think our neighboring towns can also say that. They can say, we didn't let all this growth happen, but the traffic is still going.
That leads me to my second question, and I'll try to be brief. The map that showed the traffic that goes through Waxhaw, I believe the number was 62 or 65% goes through Waxhaw, it doesn't stop in Waxhaw, the downtown area.
Right.
Do we know ultimately where it ends? And I don't mean, street address. I mean, how far did we take the numbers counters to, let's say, the end of the town border? And do those go past?
Well, most of the north-south through traffic is going to Charlotte on their commute.
Okay. And
I think that's safe to say.
Are they going back to Mineral Springs? Are they coming to Waxhaw?
Well, there's also a lot of truck traffic that comes through here on the way to even Albemarle County, to Norwood. You can look at the trucks and see the names on them and see where they're headed. It's a different kind of traffic, of course. It's not so much, it is a volume, but the volume's not so much the issue. It's just having 18-wheelers go through downtown.
Not good. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, the study does include that information. I don't have it off the top of my head, unfortunately, but it was clear, and we do have a diagram within the comprehensive plan that shows thick bars for, okay, here's this north-south traffic, a slightly thinner bar, but still thick, going east-west, and again, it shows that it's being generated outside of the town, going to outside of the town. We just happen to be in the middle. We just happen to have that key intersection. But I tell you, we got a good look at how things could be just a few weeks ago when CSX closed that intersection so that they could do their repairs. And so we had to reroute all that traffic. The town did a great job in rerouting that traffic for that temporary time. And so a lot of that through traffic was forced to go another way to get to their, it wasn't the people trying to get into Waxhaw, it was people just trying to move around Waxhaw. If you went downtown during that time, you got to experience what downtown's like without so much of that through traffic. It's the downtown feel that you want. There's no question. So that was great. You get that little window into that. See what the future might be.
Thoughts, comments around the horn, Jason?
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on what Pedro was saying. I won't miss a chance to jump at that. There are some inconsistencies between the county's 2050 plan and our 2040 with respect to the schools. And both plans are consistent in recognizing that there will be growth, and there is growth in Western Union County. But as you mentioned on page 19, it actually isn't very general. It's quite specific what the BOE said. And I'll just say a little bit of what they noted is despite projections of tens of thousands of new residents in Union County over the next decade, Union County Public Schools does not project construction of any new schools solely for overcrowding.
Right. And that's what I was trying to communicate. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear.
So that means a couple things, right? Either they don't project schools as being an issue because they are expensive to build and it takes a long process and it's going to be more expensive to build one tomorrow than it is today. Or perhaps the data in the McKimmon report as it's suggesting that the trends will go down in spite of the projections of growth in Western Union County.
Yeah.
So there are some inconsistencies with how they're recognizing or failing to recognize, I should say, the growth that's going to be happening.
Well, sometimes you have to consider the type of growth, and we go into that in the comp plan, the demographics of the growth, the rate of the number of the kinds of families that are moving in. By and large, you don't have the same number of children per family unit or for dwelling unit that you would in the past. So that's factoring as well. I don't know if you're thinking about that as well. I'm not sure I'm following you with the inconsistencies or what the point of that.
Well, so there's no plans to build schools.
That's my understanding from the 2050 plan.
In spite of all the growth that's coming.
Yeah, but that is the 2050 plan. That's not, I don't know that they can, I don't know how directly the voice of Union County Public Schools that plan is. I think that they definitely got the input from Union County Public Schools, but, it is a Union County planning document. So, it just, it's predicting the future is always tough. But yeah, it seems that they're saying that, there's not going to be a need for
And that is a good point, in that this is a planning document, and it can change as they have before.
Exactly, and I'm glad you brought that up. I want to make it clear that this, and for many people here, it may not be clear that this is not an ordinance. This is not a document that is set in stone and says you have to do things this way. This is an aspirational document. This is a document that provides a vision of what we expect to happen, and then goals and strategies for how to address that future and how to create that future. It's a document of ideas, and it is a living document. So next year at this time, or even before then, the elected body may say, we do want to make some changes. We want to tweak this plan. We like this part, we want to change that part. And that is within the power of the elected body.
Anybody else? All right, around the horn. All right, so with that, we've been with this plan for a long time, and you're right, it is a living document. It'll be subject to some trends. They may go one way or another. So with that, I'm going to let you guys make a motion.
Motion to adopt the Waxhaw 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
That's a simple one, isn't it?
It was simple.
All right.
Keep it simple.
All in favor?
Aye.
All the way around. All right. Thank you very much. Blair, thanks for all the work in this and everybody that's helped you get to this point. It's planning documents are visionary, and they do take a very long time. And as you said before, this is just a little bit of a change from the 2016, but it goes back to 2012, goes back decades before us. So
It's a rich history.
it's got a rich history. You're exactly right.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Kelly, I think you're up for the next one. This is second reading for parking on North Providence. Let's talk about that one.
That's correct. So tonight, I'll be brief. This is the second reading and requested adoption to prohibit parking on North Providence Street between Blythe Mill Road and Howie Mine Road. So just as a brief overview, this would be a proposed amendment to section 66-23 of the Code of Ordinances. And if adopted, this would prohibit the parking on both sides of North Providence Street between Blythe Mill Road and Howie Mine Road. In addition, this would provide the Waxhaw Police Department with a means to regulate parking on North Providence Street, and would additionally aid in minimizing impacts from construction vehicles blocking North Providence Street. So with that, there's the requested action.
Pretty simple one to manage the parking along that road. It is a little narrow in there. So any questions for our presenter on this one? Been literally down this road before. So
If approved, it goes into effect immediately.
Almost immediately. So it has to be sent through the clerk, and then there's a minor process for that, and then will be shown on the Code of Ordinances.
you can't issue a ticket tonight. So. All right, any other questions? All right, looking for a motion there.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance ORD 2023-021 prohibiting parking on both sides of North Providence Street between Blythe Mill Road and Howie Mine Road.
All right, that ordinance is up. All in favor?
Aye.
Consistent all the way around. Thank you. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. It'll help out in a little bit of the traffic things there. All right, next up is new business. And for this one, we got the chief.
Good evening again. So we're coming to you tonight with an endorsement for a canine grant that we found while we were at the Police Executives Conference this year. We're coming up on the retirement of Canine Kai, so we knew that we were going to incur a pretty major cost to replace that canine. The canine costs for the two current canines we have are $11,800 with the canine training and the boarding. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Nick, thank you. This grant provides $7,500 toward the purchase of a new canine. So Canine Kai has some medical issues on top of he's going to age out. PD's not asking for any additional funds, for budgetary funds from the town for this grant. The grant opportunity is through the United States Police Canine Association. It covers $7,500. with the grant that we found, East Coast Canines out of Edgecombe County, North Carolina, is the one that would be helping us do the grant. So what they have told us is the canine team receives free basic training through Edgecombe County Community College. We would have to pay the bill for the hotel room for the officer to go there and stay there during the week during the training. What all's included is this free specialty training held throughout the year, the basic training, leashes, tracking harnesses, medical kits, bulletproof vest, and all that training equipment is about $6,000. That is all included in the training cost. So the grant covers $7,500. The canine cost $8,800. So the difference in that would be $1,300 that would be not covered by the grant. So we would incur that cost. The hotel for the handler, there's a special rate with the hotel there, and the total cost for that would be $4,250. So our total obligation is going to be $5,550 instead of $13,050 that it would cost for the training equipment and canine if we not got the grant. And like I said, that was probably 7-8 years ago when we got the other two canines, and that was $11,800 back then. So at least inflation didn't hit us too much on this part, but very fortunate to find this grant. So once again, town's cost $1,300 toward the police canine, $4,250 for the hotel, total cost $5,550, and that would come out of our budget that is currently budgeted for training and travel in the existing budget. Any questions?
And so this is, again, this is out of your budget line item, so it isn't an additional budget amendment or anything like that?
That's correct.
Okay, sounds great. All right, any comments? I think, training is important for animals and people, so I think it's an important thing to do. All right, any questions? All right, looking for a motion to support the chief.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution RES 2023029 endorsing the Town of Waxhaw's application for a United States Police Canine Association grant for $7,500.
All right, appreciate that. That motion is up. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous all the way around. Thank you, Chief, and good luck on that. So let's take a little. When does that start? When does that canine arrive?
They would make the decision come January 1
Okay.
on who receives the grant, and then we would be looking at about a month before we can receive a canine, and there would be another 10 weeks of training.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so there's nothing on closed session tonight, so I'm looking for the town leadership reports. We'll start off with Town Manager Jeff Wells.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing to share tonight is staff is working on the revised project advocacy list for 2024 with our state lobbyist, Deborah Conrad. That will look a bit different this time based on her guidance and based on the fact that it will be the short session budget this time. And so we are going to strive to condense the list down based on her guidance to about 10 to 12 projects. So we're in the process of doing that now. We will bring that list to the board at the retreat for the board to prioritize with the ones that we have recommended, but then also, of course, the other ones that would have been on the list otherwise. But based on her guidance, that's we're going to listen to, I hope, is condense that list down and see what can fit in with the short session budget this time. That's all I have.
Well, she's helped out a lot going forward, so we would like to stay engaged in that, I'm sure.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Business Development Director Ashely Nowell.
Hi guys, thank you. I wanted to give you guys an update on the downtown Waxhaw Social District, as it wasn't on our agenda today. So at our last meeting that you guys had on December 14th, we discussed the downtown Waxhaw Social District, and we've tested the district twice at events, collected data from our businesses via email and in-person conversations, as well as information from the people who participated in the district during those events. During that discussion, the board requested some additional information, including feedback from our businesses in downtown, as well as information from the police chiefs across the 40-plus districts across the state. There was also some discussion of doing like a longer-term test. So I think we heard a lot of like really great ideas and feedback and kind of wanted to take that and regroup. So our Downtown Waxhaw Board, our Economic Vitality Committee, our Police Department, and our Business Development Department still think that this can be a really good economic benefit for downtown. And so we would really like to spend some more time collecting that data that you guys requested and really educating on the social district and what that could be for our downtown area. So we'll be spending the next few months kind of gathering that data up, and then we'll present that at the board retreat in January. Lastly, I also wanted to mention shopping local this holiday season. So Black Friday and Small Business Saturday was this past weekend. It went really well in downtown. We had more than 11,000 shoppers over the course of those 2 days, Friday and Saturday. But it's not over. You still have to shop local this season. So keep shopping local. Again, if you need a personal shopper, I will help you buy gifts. And just remember to keep supporting your local businesses. They really depend on these holiday sales to get them through January through March when it's a little colder. I also want to mention First Fridays. So we will have our First Fridays event this Friday, December 1st in downtown. A lot of our businesses will be open late. There's a lot of places that have music, some artists, and some cool promotions too. So see you downtown Friday.
All right, thank you. Any thoughts, comments, questions all the way around? All right, Ashley, thank you very much. Chief, you're back up.
All right, so tis the season, right? Tis the season for car break-ins. Tis the season for shoplifting. Tis the season for everything that to do to get money. So we've increased our patrols in the retail businesses establishments due to the holiday season. Also, we're asking everybody in the communities, please double check your car doors, make sure they're locked, make sure there are no valuables left in your car. Most of the time they're going to check door handles. If it's unlocked, they're going to go through your car. If it's locked and they see valuables in the seats and the floorboards, they're going to break your window. So just keep that in mind. Remove packages from the front porch as quick as you can. Amazon is very, very good when it comes to, you can order it and just get it on your porch. Shop local instead of, nah, but all seriousness, as quickly as you can get it off your porch, the better. I know a lot of people have Ring doorbell cameras and cameras on their homes, and that's great for trying to solve the crime after the fact, but let's try to prevent it this year and get them off the porch and make sure the doors are locked. Also, we had a visit from Santa last night at the Waxhaw PD. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, but he brought his little elves and they decorated our tree and lit it up for the year, so we're pretty excited.
That's awesome. That's a great thing. Did you say hi to him?
Absolutely, I sat on his lap.
Okay.
No, I really did.
All right.
Any questions?
Questions, anybody? All right, comments. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that, and thanks for the heads up on all that. Next up, Miss Lisa is still in the room here. Nope, she left. She okay? All right, we'll deal with that later. All right, board, it's up to you. Anything for the good of the group all the way around? All right. With that, I'm going to look for a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you.